In 2 weeks, in 15 days, we received 150 million ticket requests.
Every sports channel right now is running the same conversation. Argentina, Brazil, England, France. Who's in form? Who's the favorite? Who's going to win? Perfectly enjoyable conversation. But there's a completely different conversation happening in the background that almost nobody in mainstream media is having, and it has nothing to do with football. It has to do with money. Specifically, whose money, how much of it, and what it's quietly doing to the tournament you love. That's what this video is about. Section 1. How much money is FIFA actually making? FIFA is projected to make $14 billion from this World Cup. To give that some context, $14 billion is more than the entire GDP of countries like Monaco, Belize, and Afghanistan. It is the largest amount of money ever generated by a single sporting event in human history. The previous World Cup in Qatar generated around $7 billion, so in 4 years, FIFA doubled it. The one before that, Russia, $6 billion. Brazil before that, $4.5 billion. The graph goes in one direction, and it goes there steeply, like someone leaned on the keyboard. When Gianni Infantino took over FIFA in 2016, he promised a bigger, richer, more powerful organization. At the time, most people treated that the way you treat any political promise. A decade later, FIFA is generating more money than at any point in its history. Infantino is running for re-election, and FIFA's voting structure gives each of its 211 member federations one vote each. The Faroe Islands and Brazil have identical voting power. To keep all 211 federations loyal, FIFA distributes money to every single one of them. So the $14 billion isn't just commercial revenue, it's also, in a very practical sense, a campaign fund. He makes the money, he distributes the money, he gets the votes. That's not corruption, that's just a system, and it's a beautifully self-sustaining one. Section 2. How are they making it? How FIFA built a machine capable of generating this kind of money involves some genuinely creative restructuring that most people completely missed because it was announced in the language of corporate governance, which is specifically designed to make your eyes glaze over. Traditionally, World Cups are organized through a local organizing committee, a partnership between FIFA and the host nation's federation. The host country does the heavy logistical and financial lifting, and FIFA takes its share of the commercial revenue. That's how it worked in Brazil, Russia, Germany, every tournament you can remember. For 2026, FIFA scrapped that model entirely. For the first time, FIFA is managing the tournament directly, working with host cities rather than national federations. This means FIFA controls the media rights, the sponsorship deals, and ticket sales for every match. The host cities, meanwhile, handle safety, security, and infrastructure. The cities pay for the police. FIFA keeps the profit. This restructuring didn't happen by accident. It happened alongside a years-long effort by Infantino to build a personal relationship with the US government, and specifically with Donald Trump. These two have met at the White House multiple times. Infantino, at one point, actually relocated to Miami to be physically closer to Trump's orbit. And then there's the 48-team format, which is the part of this story. Officially, expanding from 32 to 48 teams is about inclusivity, more nations participating, the game growing in new markets. That may genuinely be part of it, but it also means 104 matches instead of 64, which is 40 additional broadcast windows, 40 additional sponsorship slots, 40 additional games worth ticket revenue. The expansion was announced in 2017. FIFA's commercial projections jumped immediately. Nobody said it was purely about the money. Nobody had to. Section 3. How is it affecting fans? This is where it stops being abstract. FIFA introduced dynamic pricing for this World Cup. On paper, dynamic pricing sounds reasonable. In practice, prices went up for 90 out of 104 matches. The cheapest standard final ticket reached nearly $6,000. The most expensive category hit $11,000 and later tripled. On FIFA's own official resale platform, seats for the final were listed at $2 million per ticket. That's not a misprint. Someone listed a football ticket for $2 million, and FIFA's platform hosted that listing. And if it's sold, FIFA will earn 30% commission, which is almost $600,000. Here's how they earn through resales. FIFA sells you a ticket. You decide to resell it. You can only resell it through FIFA's official platform. FIFA takes 30% of that transaction. There is no version of this system where FIFA loses money. It is the financial equivalent of a casino. Every possible outcome is profitable for the house. The Attorneys General of New York and New Jersey launched a formal investigation into FIFA's ticketing practices, which is not something that normally happens around football tournaments. One economist described the end result simply: you risk filling stadiums with wealthy people instead of fans who actually care about the game. The evidence that this is already happening came a few days before the tournament started. When it emerged, there were still 180,000 unsold tickets at the biggest, most anticipated World Cup in history. FIFA's pricing strategy was so aggressive that it managed to leave the largest football tournament partially empty. The fans who would have filled those seats, who would have painted their faces and sung for 90 minutes and made the stadium feel like a World Cup, couldn't afford to be there. They watched from a sofa instead, which is exactly where FIFA needs them, because that's where the broadcast numbers come from. Fox Sports, the official English language broadcaster, spent 6 months telling American audiences they were the place to watch this World Cup. And then the opening ceremony happened. Shakira, 80,000 people, the Azteca, and Fox didn't show any of it. English-speaking fans who tuned in got a desk with presenters talking about the US team. Meanwhile, Spanish-speaking fans on Telemundo watched the whole ceremony live. No problem. Same tournament, 2 completely different experiences. Fox has never explained why they made this decision. They just quietly chose not to show the opening of the tournament and moved on like it never happened. Section 4. What happens next? It gets bigger. That's the honest answer. It just gets bigger. Saudi Arabia has already been awarded the 2034 World Cup. The 2030 edition spans 6 countries across 3 continents, generating even more broadcast windows, more sponsorship territory, more revenue. The machine keeps growing because the machine was built to grow. What makes this hard to argue against is that it's all completely legal. The old FIFA, the one that needed FBI intervention, worked through bribery, secret votes, and envelopes of cash in hotel rooms. It was corrupt in a way that was at least straightforward about being corrupt. Infantino actually ran on cleaning that up. And he did clean it up. He just replaced it with something smarter. A system where FIFA's financial interests, his re-election campaign, and the priorities of a small number of very powerful governments are so perfectly aligned that the whole thing holds together without anyone needing to do anything illegal. Nobody has to bribe anybody. The phrase, "the beautiful game," has been used about football for decades, and it's worth asking what it actually meant. It didn't mean the football was always beautiful. Plenty of it was ugly and boring and cynical. It meant something about who the game belonged to. The idea that a kid in Lagos and a kid in Liverpool and a kid in Buenos Aires all had the same claim on the World Cup, that it was a genuinely shared thing, rather than a commercial product they were being invited to consume at a price FIFA had decided. That idea isn't dead, but it is being systematically stress tested by people who have done the maths and concluded that the passion of billions of fans is a monetizable asset, and that the fans will keep watching regardless of what they're charged. This World Cup will produce moments nobody will ever forget. There will be goals that get replayed for decades, upsets that nobody predicted. Football always delivers on the pitch, but there's a version of watching this where you only see the football, and a version where you also see what's around it. The most uncomfortable part is this: billions of us are still watching, which means next time, the machine will be even bigger. So enjoy the football, watch every match. But when you see an empty seat in New Jersey, just remember for a second that someone wanted to be sitting in it and couldn't afford to. That seat is the most honest thing FIFA has shown you about what this tournament actually is.